You can become extraordinary. I know you'll set the world on fire. Keep chasing your dream.
Hi, and welcome back to Ordinarily Extraordinary Conversations with Women in STEM. We are here today with Katherine Jackson Jones, a coach and mentor for the National Math and Science Initiative. I'm really excited to talk to her about this. It's not something that I have previously known about, and I'm excited to learn with you all about what this initiative is and how we can get more people involved with it. So, welcome, Catherine, and hi, Linda.
Hi.
All right. So, Catherine, do you want to just start out by telling us what is the National Math and Science Initiative?
Yes. So the National Math and Science Initiative is a nonprofit organization, and we are focused on building awareness and exploration into the STEM industry. So, STEM career field. So, our main goal is to reach those that are the farthest from behind that would not be exposed to certain careers or fields in engineering, but also to open up other avenues of things related to STEM, like critical thinking, analysis, other communication skills, all of those kind of college career readiness standards that you want people to have when they graduate high school and graduate college. So the National Math and Science Organization is built on creating opportunities and awareness for students that don't typically know those opportunities are out there. It's pretty innovative in my opinion, as well as the program itself, because it works for creating professional development for the educators, because that's who's with the students. So it's opening up avenues for the educators and their districts and their leaders within those districts to expand knowledge for students and to give them things that they may not know were possible prior to
So,
becoming an NMSI partner.
is it a high school program?
It is actually, it's kind of all immersed. So it used to be kind of divided into, you had multiple like kind of little pockets in it. We had the original like laying the foundation, and that includes third grade all the way up to like ninth and 10th grade. And
Mhm.
but it's all kind of emerged now into this really more of a college readiness program based on opening awareness to the STEM field specifically. I mean, all students, but STEM, because that has the least amount of exposure. And we've actually, kind of seen a drop in people moving into STEM fields anyway since COVID came about. So, yes, high school, but we also have parts of the program that address elementary and expose them to things in science, math, and engineering, and et cetera. But it's all underneath that one umbrella that's pushing to advanced upper level understanding and exposure.
So, is it working with like the teachers and the school? Is it working with directly with students? Like, what does the program look like from like a just a programming standpoint?
So, the biggest thing that we focus on right now is professional development for not just the teachers, but the leaders within the school districts as well. So, it's an entire program. It's not like a one stop shop. We are not an organization that's going to come in and give you some materials or something like that and then turn around and walk away. We're there throughout the entire like 3 to 5 years, depending on which program you come in on, and because we're trying to build awareness and open up avenues and train teachers to be able to consider these more innovative processes to use that you would see in these other fields that are STEM related. So it's not just, hey, here's this one training for this one teacher. We're going to get in there. We're going to do maybe a review of the programs, review of their program. We're going to go into, we have like what we call the STEM literacy playbook, which is where we're pulling in strategies that are very beneficial skills to have in STEM related careers. And so we're giving those kind of strategies and teaching teachers how to create lessons using those strategies. And then also working with the administrators and leadership teams to say, hey, this is what it's supposed to look like. Because it's through active engagement that people become more open and aware of other opportunities. But if they're just like talked to or talked at, you know what I'm saying? They don't get it.
Mhm.
They've checked out. They're not going to have that exposure that our program is bringing to them. So, what it looks like in that first year is us coming in and just reviewing and then going over, like, here, this is what we're going to do. And throughout the year, we're going to partner with some of those newer teachers or teachers that need some additional assistance with navigating STEM and navigating enriching lessons to raise, expectations, to raise critical thinking and analysis, everything they really need in these kind of STEM fields, whether it is, as we had once, talked before about, like telecommunication. Like, how can you make that skills needed to be successful in telecommunication relevant and impactful in the English classroom? How can you take mechanical engineering and open up the door for a student to see how much value there is, not just in a mechanical engineering class, because part of what we do at NMSI is we say they don't have mechanical engineering. So many of our students, I mean, our courses, our schools, rural schools, schools that are in inner cities, they're not going to have some of these programs. So let us come in and bring these things to you so you can see you can still teach these skills and open up this possibility, even if you don't have that mechanical engineering class. Or maybe you don't have that welding class yet. Or maybe welding's not seen as something viable for maybe a female because it's been like a more male dominated one. So that's part of what we do with NMSI. We say, no, here you go. Here are these things you can do in your school. So it's more than just teacher education, it's administrator education, it's working with students as well sometimes. It's just a whole avenue of options that come with the National Math and Science Initiative. And I hope that I actually answered that question. Gregory?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds really good. So I have a question.
Mhm.
So sometimes you are enhancing the programs that they have, and sometimes you're introducing new programs. Would that be a correct assumption?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And if we're not
Okay.
introducing like a whole new program to them, right, then we are bringing in, like you said, ways to enhance what they have so that it's not okay. So, like, one of the things I'm going to say that we're really good at NIMSY is besides this awareness and exploration, we're really good at showing that you don't need, no longer can you just sit and talk at students. You can't talk at students. You have to create engagement, and it's in that engagement that people see possibility, that they can see options. And I'm talking like not just the teachers and the leaders, but when the teachers can engage them, the kids see, oh, hey, I can do this. Oh, hey, that is possible. Wow, that is interesting. I think I'm going to learn more about that when they're actively engaged. Whereas if they're just sitting there listening to someone come give a presentation about chemical engineering or about whatever it is, they're checked out because our students are
Mhm.
tactile and visual learners. I mean, that is just the trend. In the 1950s, you could probably talk at someone and pique their interest. But that's not the world that our kids are living in now. And I think that's another huge benefit about the National Math and Science Initiative organization, our program.
I don't think you can really like talk at anybody anymore and people get anything out of it. Like I go to conferences and stuff and I'm really trying to bring in the audience for that very reason because I don't retain anything either unless I'm having an active discussion about I think I don't know if it's our attention spans or social media, I don't know what has made it change. But yeah, for sure. Is it a school that would reach out to you? Is it a school district that would reach out to you?
A
Do you
school
reach out to
district
them?
A district and state actually have reached out. So, like, there was at one point, for example, and I may be misquoting, so just so you know, but I know that there was at one point that New York City or might have been the state had reached out to the National Math and Science Initiative and participated in completing like a grant and some other things. And we actually were going into schools and inner schools in New York, bringing the National Math and Science Initiative program to them. So it was like, I don't know if that was a whole city or just the state that contacted us. But Virginia is one that had contacted. I do know that was several years ago. So we were in Virginia setting them up, and you get them set up. That's why you're looking at, the 3 to 5 year program, because then when we leave, they keep it going. They don't need us because the teachers are teaching the teachers to teach the teachers to teach the students and the leaders. Like, that's the whole point. It's not that we want to be needed forever. It kind of goes with y'all with this podcast.
You wanna get yourself out of a job,
Yes,
right?
you want it to be extraordinarily ordinary. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, it's kind of the perfect thing if you think about it, because you don't want it to seem, wow, that's really cool that this is happening. You want it to be like, that's an expectation.
Yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
like, it's just normal. It's just a
Yes.
normal life, it's a normal part of the curriculum, it's a normal part of the school, it's a normal part of what kids
Yes.
are learning about, it's a normal part of our society.
So any teacher, or parent that, is interested in something like this, they need to reach out to their school district. Start with the principal. Say, hey, I heard about this thing. I went to, www.nmsorg.com, and I went over there, nms.org, not .com. And I went and checked out this program they were talking about. And it has some really interesting things on here, and tell them. And then they can contact us, and we can get paperwork started and check and see if we can get grants and, whatever possible, so that we can expand. The whole purpose is expand the horizon for everyone, not just some. It's for everyone. Even those, kids that are in, the 1A school districts with hardly any people at all and no opportunities. They only have a handful of teachers. They deserve that exposure and opportunity just as much as those sitting in a school in a 6A, large, giant, inner city, high advanced, early collegiate high school. They still deserve the same opportunities, because you never know.
Yeah, you're totally talking like mine and Linda's language, because we're both in like rural areas of Minnesota, and her and I have talked about how it's very challenging to get STEM programming in the rural areas, and it puts kids at a disadvantage
It does.
as they're starting out their lives, as they're trying to figure out what to do for jobs. So let's say I were to reach out to my school district and say, hey, I heard about this great program. What would the next step be? Like, do you guys go into the school with a number of people? Like, how does that work? Like, once a school contacts you?
Once the school district contacts, and they're going to get together with that team that handles that, because that's kind of out of my area of expertise. I'm hands-on with teachers and educators and students. But we have a team of people, and I can't remember exactly what that title is, but they will do is get with the administrators, and they will help walk through whatever it is, the program that they're looking for, so that we can personalize it for what they need. That's the other huge thing. That's a huge benefit with NMSI. It's not a one package fits all, because it doesn't fit all. Everyone is different. And we make, just like you differentiate in a classroom, we differentiate with the different school districts and schools that come on board. So they're going to get together and have discussions. And that's going to basically dictate what the school is needing, looking for, wanting. And obviously, we're going to make suggestions, because that's what we do. We like to be innovative. I mean, that's the point of STEM, is to be innovative. You know what I mean? It's kind of what you want to happen. Otherwise, you just become stagnant and nothing happens. If there's no growth, then there's no community, there's no commerce, there's no industry. There's pretty much, it's a downhill spiral after that point. So that's what they want to do, is get with, contact NMSI, go onto that website, hit the contact button. They will get with you pretty quickly, start asking you a bunch of questions. They'll meet with you. And then once it all gets set up, then they'll start lining out different trainings based on the needs of that school district or that school. And then we'll start having people come in and start working with them and adding some additional, trainings, maybe some student support systems, if those become, back into play, those things like that. Because we haven't done them this last year, but we did on like student study sessions where we come in and we work with the kids, the experts in the National Math and Science Initiative, with our STEM literacy playbook. We come in and we roll those things out with the kids. And some occasions, it doesn't happen all the time, but we definitely have our teachers, when we come into a school district and we come do something, the teachers are the student. Like, they are going to sit and participate and run through those lessons as if they were the butts in the seat, so to speak. And they're going to experience it just like they do. And we like doing that because, again, if you're not engaged, you are not learning. I mean, that's the bottom line. Non-engagement, you're checked out. Nothing is going to happen. If you're not learning, then how can you open up possibilities or avenues if you don't see them?
So it's really like a train the trainer type of environment.
Yeah.
Correct?
And then we get to bring in different things, tools that come with us, and those get left behind with the school districts, those kind of things.
So you're training the teachers at a separate time than the students, or is it
Yes,
real
separate
time
time.
when the
Separate time. But now we do sometimes have in the past gone in, and I've gone into school districts and schools, and I've modeled in the past where they've asked me to come in and with the teacher, and then I'm presenting a lesson and using those STEM literacy playbook strategies that it's our back pocket, you just kind of whip those things out, things that you would see them incorporating into those various STEM fields.
What kind of reactions do you see when you're in a classroom environment like that? Either the teachers or the students, or what's the reaction that you get?
Like recently, one, we had this whole thing that it's something I do, and it's making thinking visible. Okay. And it's like taking, and I had it like out in the hall, right? And I have just these categories, and we're reading something. It might have been The Alchemy of the Mind or something like that. I can't remember. And I had it out there, and literally I had just labeled like different, let's say it was like literary elements, rhetorical choices, something like that. But it was like, where I had like metaphors and similes and, the different forms of imagery or what have you. And I know that's English related, but we're using the science, something scientific in this case. But we also pull in things from engineering and things from math. I mean, we pull from everywhere with it STEM related. But they're out there, and I had them write down things on Post-it notes, evidence from the text, and they're putting them in there and putting them in there. And when they get finished, they step back, teachers and students alike, and they go, wow, because I'll ask the question, why did the author in Alchemy of the Mind use so many metaphors when they're talking about the brain? Because they had never noticed, wow, that's a lot of metaphors. Well, why would you want to do that? And why would you want to be asking a bunch of questions? Why are all of those comparisons necessary? What is being compared? What is the value of it? And they're like, there's a purpose behind those? Absolutely. You know what
It
I
must
mean?
have been fun to see that light bulb go on and
Yes.
watch their reaction to that.
It's really neat. Or I did another one that's one of our STEM literacy playbook things, and I want to like give them all out, but it's Tea Party, but we use it a little bit differently because we're pulling in from STEM stuff, and we're thinking, as we're creating these lessons and these strategies, we're thinking, if they're in that field, how is this similar to what they're going to do in that
Mhm.
career? And that's what we want to bring with some of these, kind of coin things like what they call a tea party, which in English, regular, general, humanities kind of courses, it might be you might be reading something like from Shakespeare or something, and you just pull a piece of it out. And then they have to go find the other pieces that will go with the conversation. Hits
Mhm.
numerous amounts of skills when you're doing that in all kinds of fields, and then bringing it back and saying, hey, where could this be seen as valuable? And that's kind of what we do with at NMSI. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about our program.
How did you get involved in NMSI?
I kind of was just adopted in when NMSI launched in 2007. I think I was just a package deal. I'm not sure exactly. So before this, Rhonda Brandon had launched a program called Advanced Placement Strategies Incorporation. And then after that, launched Laying the Foundation. It was a team of 4 or 5 educators, and Rhonda Brandon was kind of our leader on that. And I was in the second group of teachers. They came to the school district I was working in, and they presented. Now, it wasn't so STEM focused at this point. It was in 2007 that we shifted gears and started changing more things. But I started within, it was like the second year they came to our school. And after that, they were pretty new. One of the trainers, I would believe it was Rhonda Brandon, said, hey, you should do this. And I thought, because I felt like when they came into the school district and I was part of some of these strategies that they pulled in and the scaffolding, and I watched with me, my light bulb went off. I was awakened. It changed me, and it changed the way I taught. And so when the National Math and Science Initiative launched in 2007 and they consumed, they became all one group, I just kind of came with them. And they just haven't been able to get rid of me since. I'm like the guest that never goes away.
Okay, so are you full-time at NMSI?
No, I am part-time NMSI because I also teach full-time in an actual
Okay.
very rural area in Texas.
Okay. So, and what did you teach like when you became aware of NMSI, and are you still teaching the same thing or you teach something different now?
It depends on what the district needs, in all honesty. I still am teaching AP language, which is kind of the college class that you can take to bypass composition 1. So I still teach that one. But I also teach general population English courses. So sometimes it's English 2 and sometimes it's English 3. It's kind of any of those. But then I've also led programs. Now, since I got married and moved to Louisiana, I'm not like leading like the UIL. And you're probably not familiar with that, but it's the University Interscholastic League, where I was the coordinator of the whole program. There's like 19 different contests, including like math, science. It's like physics, chemistry. We have engineering contests with it. So that kind of NMSI kind of opened me and pushed me kind of into the UIL arena. which I hadn't been doing prior to NMSI because it's STEM.
What is UIL? Sorry.
It's the University Interscholastic League. It is basically
Mm.
this huge contest, and you compete locally, and then as you kind of practice, have these little practice meets. When it gets into like you get to a regional, if you like have your district meet, the top 3 or whatever will advance to regional, and then we'll advance to state. And it actually opens up for students to get this what's called a TILF scholarship, which is money from the state, from Texas, from UIL, for them to be able to go to school and pursue degrees in potentially these fields that they're competing in. So it could be debate, it could be writing, it could be public speaking, it could be like extemporaneous speaking, it can be, we have science contests, physics, chemistry. It's just like a whole wealth, of contests that can pique anyone's interest. And that's kind of my interest in that actually stemmed from the National Math and Science Initiative.
What is the most dramatic change that you have seen either in a student or in a school or a school district during the time that you have been a part of NMSI?
So for me personally, it was there. We had some online student study sessions, and it was through AT&T, a grant, because we're publicly and privately funded, and it's a nonprofit organization. But they had launched this thing during COVID, and they were supporting it. It was an AT&T, and any kid, didn't matter where they were at, could log in and join me and have a class. And we just had class. And there was this one particular, well, it's more than one, but this one in particular, this young woman that came and joined me for the class and was very kind of timid and wasn't very sure of herself. And she kept showing up for these classes and showing up for these classes. And she reminded me a whole lot of me growing up. And so I felt kind of compelled to kind of reach out to continue, you know what I mean? So, I would even email her afterwards, through our work email, and just check in. How's it going? Everything going okay? And she ended up, the highest score you can get on, she ended up taking AP language. And the highest score you can get on that exam is a 5. And she emailed me and told me she went from a 0, what she called herself, a 0 to a 5. And it
Wow.
wasn't because of attending those classes with me. It was the exposure. And she learned she could do more than she thought she could. She was like
Sure.
going to like McDonald's and logging into their Wi-Fi to join these sessions because she didn't have internet at home. So she was walking to the McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that was powerful.
Yeah.
And
That's
that wouldn't have
commitment.
happened without NMSI. Because it was a NMSI event. And AT&T, even for that matter, because they partnered with us to be able to launch this so anybody could join.
Do those programs still go on? Like now that we're like past COVID, or I shouldn't say past COVID. Now that we're like have incorporated COVID into our normal day-to-day lives.
I've accepted it.
I know NMSI is not, at this point, we're not doing those right now. I can say that much. I know that we're not launching. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have some come into play, because we did it for, a couple of years even. So it was after that first year of COVID that we kept doing some of those. Whether or not that's going to continue, I'm not sure. It'd be nice though. But again, it has to come from funding, and funding, again, we're nonprofit. So we're not, making profit to launch these things. We actually have to go and seek out people willing to support the program.
Yeah, and honestly, like there's a piece of me that is kind of wondering this from I have a nonprofit in Africa, and part of me has it in my head at some point, like once we get people fed and healthy and stuff like that, I'm like, I would love to incorporate STEM programming, girls in STEM programming. There's a woman I had on my podcast many years ago who is an astrophysicist that came from a small village outside of Durban of like 300 people, of like cattle farmers. And she's like, and I'm just like, are there ways that we can like bring this to like other, it sounds like such a good program. And I'm like,
It really
are
is.
there ways to, when you can virtualize things, you can make them like accessible to anybody, no matter where they are,
Now,
whether it's rural, whether it's, in the US, whether it's outside the US. And yeah, so that's just like where my mind was going, is like, are there ways to like make it bigger? I know that like
We
you probably are
do.
like, we're just trying to like serve the areas here.
We're just trying to reach the United States at this point. But here's what I'm gonna say is we do have online sessions. We do have where teachers can like take online courses with us. And we
I
have
can.
what are
Okay.
called like the teacher communities. So we get together in like teacher villages is what we call them, and
Hmm.
teachers can log into that. Now, I think they have to be part of the program to be members, but we do offer those. So there's a constant opportunities to collaborate with other educators that are also in the STEM pathway. So we do have that, but they need to be a member of the National
Yeah.
Math and Science and Organization to be part of it.
Mhm.
I know that you are the first person in your family that went to college.
Yes.
Is that part of the reason that you're so driven and passionate about this program?
Yes.
Is like, tell me how that all fits together.
So I have 2 older brothers and 2 younger brothers. And my mom got pregnant when she was in 7th grade. And at that time period, if you're pregnant, you're not allowed to go to school. So my mom had quit school. I mean, I don't know if she quit school, if you just say they just kicked her out and she couldn't go back because she had a child. Because it was back, and I don't even remember when it was, early 60s. And so she just wasn't able to go to school anymore. And her dad was out of the picture. It was just my grandmother. And so my grandmother's working 1 or 2 jobs. My mom's going to have to work 1 or 2 jobs. And then she had another kid. And then she had me by the time she was like, I think 18. At that point, now she's got 3 kids and no education. And so it's just a constant cycle. You know what I mean? My mom's not around because she can't pay bills because she has to work. And she's having to work, at a gas station. She worked at Stop and Go back when they had the Stop and Goes in Texas, but it was a
I know
convenience store.
Stop and Go.
Okay. So that's what she
Mhm.
did. She worked there. I don't remember she worked at like a 5 and dime store called Mott's. I mean, at the same time, she's working at gas stations. So that's what she did. My grandmother did the same thing. She worked as a waitress for a restaurant and then worked somewhere else. That's just what they did to survive. Well, when they're not at home and you're living in poverty, you have no motivation, and my brothers went down a path that wasn't good. And so it became this cycle. We just continued the same cycle that had been continuing before us of not completing things, not putting education first, not seeing that we were more than being poor, more than being those kids. I was that family. You know what I mean? And so I didn't see anything as possible for me going to college. I actually contemplated dropping out of high school and not finishing. Neither one of my older brothers did. They'd quit going to school. Nobody said anything to them that it was worthy or that there was any hope or opportunity. They just quit and got involved in things they shouldn't have got involved in. And then, my 2 little brothers kind of followed suit as well. One of my brothers is special needs, so he actually does have a modified diploma from high school. But then my other brother quit. So out of my family, technically, I'm the only one that graduated high school because nobody else did. And what
What
changed?
kept you going?
Hmm?
What kept you going, do you think? A lot of determination, I
I
imagine.
do okay. One of the things I have to say, because there's 2 things. One, it was a teacher, and it was my physics teacher that saw something in me that I refused to see in myself. And then it was as hard. My mom was hardcore on me. My brothers could fail a class, they could get D's, they could get whatever. But my mom literally held me to the fire, and we didn't get along because she held me to. And I never thought it was fair that I could do nothing. You know what I mean? Like she's going to battle with me over me getting a B when
Mm-hmm.
my brothers could make D's and do whatever, but she held me to the fire and we butted heads like you would not believe. And at one point I was so, so sick of it, of being singled out, that I was going to quit school. I was done. And that's when Teresa Smiths came into the picture. And right at that time, she just noticed and said, "You're more than where you're at." And she just pulled me aside and she said, "You're valuable. You just don't know it yet."
That's pretty
And
inspiring.
that's what I needed. I needed someone to say, "Your circumstance doesn't define you. Your mother doesn't hate you. Your mother
Yeah,
lived."
there's some remarkable teachers out there, and she sounds like one of
And
them.
she has no idea. I don't even think she realized how her intervention kept me from dropping out of school. I was done.
Do you think that your mom was hard on you because she was She was concerned about you ending up like her. Like, that's what just going through my
He'd
head.
actually later on, because we didn't get along for a while because I felt persecuted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I mean, I'm
Yeah.
a hormonal,
Sure.
teenager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I had some other things happen, but I just was resentful and et cetera. And years later, my mom did. She told me, she said, I had to be hard on you because your brothers could go get a job in construction and make good money. You're a woman. You can't do that.
Mhm.
And I don't want you to crawl your way up and have to depend on a man or anyone. Sorry, I'm just going to tell you it's what she said, for anything, because you're capable of getting it yourself. That's why I was hard on you. If she would have told me that back then, I never would. She probably did tell me, but it went in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
Sure. As it does.
Yes.
Well,
Later,
and
got it.
when I was growing up, there were some challenges in my family, and I grew up like very much not wanting to also be dependent on a man because they can leave. You can be stuck someplace because you could be in an abusive
Mhm.
relationship and be stuck. And so, if you don't have ways of being independent and ways of making your own money and making your own way, there's a whole lot of challenges.
Mhm.
Do you get along with your mom now?
I
Is she
do. I
still
do.
around?
Yeah. Yeah. I love my mom. It was just, the struggle. I mean, me more than her. You know what I mean? My mom and I are close. She's a rock. Yeah, she even went back to school. She got her GED and she went to college, and she got
She
her.
did.
She did, yes. So
Oh,
That's great.
and this is the thing, and this is and I know I'm bringing it back to NMSI, but here's the thing: because of things like Teresa Smith, who stepped in with me, I knew nothing about going to college, nothing. I had to have help with that. And she helped, you know what I mean? Like, she gave me avenues and showed me things and helped me get into college, basically. That's what she did. But when I got to college, right? Well, and my mom went back to school. She went and she got her GED. She went to school. She got an associate's degree. And I don't know if she finished her bachelor's or not. So I'd have to ask her. I don't think I've ever even asked her about that. But one of my brothers then went back to school and he got an associate's degree from ITT. Another brother started it. He ended up dropping out, but he ended up getting the good paying job. But I think it all started because I went. You know what I mean? Like, it not because of
mhm.
Mhm.
me, but because, oh, it's possible. And it goes
Yeah.
back to the exposure. Wouldn't have known it was possible if no one had ever seen that it could happen to someone like me, like that it was possible for anyone like me, including my brothers.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stories like of people that have had people in their life urge them outside of their what they think is normal in their family and what they think they can't attain. And I mean, I have a similar story. My family went to trade school. I had four brothers like you. I was second oldest. I have four brothers, and they were encouraged to go to trade school. Well, girls don't go to trade school. I don't think my family really knew what to do with me. My mom didn't go to college. My dad didn't go to college. But what's interesting about that is my grandmother, she died when I was 3. Had she lived for me because she got her master's in the late 40s,
Wow.
early
Really?
50s. She was a teacher. And yeah, to this day, I'm like, how did she do that? But my dad talks about stories about going to live at the farm for the summer so grandma could finish her schooling. But I was same as you. My work for a utility. She grew up in the wartime and she she made bullets in
Wow.
World War II, and she didn't want me making bullets. So she's like, work for a utility. They're all from my
Really?
grandmother.
From your
Um,
grandma not wanting you to make bullets.
not wanting to make bullets, yeah. So I went to apply for a job at the utility. I had no schooling, but I did a little bit of clerical work here and there, and it was the HR manager there that said, "Have you thought about going to school?" He said I didn't have to. I'm high math, I can do all this, and then I went to school.
See, I mean, it's just the littlest things. Like, if you hadn't have gone because of your grandmother and that person said, have you thought about going to school? Because if you're never asked
Mhm.
those questions, you never think
Right.
about them.
You never think it's an opportunity for you.
No, you don't. And just like I said, I never would have known that I could go to school. I just figured I would
Yeah.
just do what everybody else in my family does. I knew I didn't want to
Mhm.
follow in the tracks of my brother because they went down some very ugly tracks.
You
But
knew you didn't want that.
I just think it's amazing. I just do because, and I don't think it's just because I went to school, but they saw it was possible. My nieces have all gone. to college. Both of them have degrees, bachelor degrees. They have those.
Mm.
Hopefully it's not a power
My
outage.
my son went to college.
The
My daughter
last one.
went and finished college. I think that when you get those opportunities, and it breaks the cycle, it breaks cycles that you didn't maybe know had you imprisoned. It's like releasing the shackles off of you, even when they're invisible. And then it changes the path, the whole trajectory. Like I said, my 2 nieces have gone to college since then. My nephew has gone to trade school. Most of my brothers, though, are in like more of the STEM technology field than, where I went down the English course.
Well, so this woman who, talked to you about going to school, like she changed your whole village.
Yes, she really did. Like, even, we're talking about trade school. My special needs nephew, he's autistic and he has general apraxia. He has gone to trade school, to Texas State Technical College, and was first working on graphic design and has switched now. He is looking into like computer programming. Would not have happened. I mean, never would have thought it was possible. It was opening a door, as cliche as that is. And that's what we want to do. I mean, that's what we want to do. That's why our big motto, if I was going to give an elevator pitch for National Math and Science Initiative, like literally, it is a program that reaches those that are the farthest from opportunity.
How rewarding is that for you that you can do this for others that was done for you, and to watch, other students that maybe wouldn't have chosen a path of higher education, and you can inspire them and engage them with these new programs so that they do. That's pretty rewarding career, I'd say.
I don't think that I could actually put it into words. And to me, it's more about the fact that people learn that there are choices in front of them, and it's opening just the blind. They can see them. Like, to me, that is powerful. Whether you go and get a master's degree, or you finish a bachelor's, or you finish trade school, it's more than that. It's possibility. It's the light in the dark, as cliche as that is.
You're making me think, like, just making people feel like they're worthy.
Yes. Yes. Because otherwise you don't, like, you're never exposed to something. You have no idea what your value is. And when you feel valued,
Your world
people,
changes.
yes, not just your world, everyone's world. You know what I mean? Like, all of those with, your hands, your reach out, like, they're all going to change somehow, some way. And then that trickles onto the other people near you and to the other people. And then that changes a community. And that community then can continue to trickle out and change a state. And a state can continue to trickle out. It just opens up so many things that you had no idea were there. And what it could do for an entire nation is unbelievable.
I got to imagine kids in school today, they may have the opportunity to go to college and know they're going to college, but don't know what to do with that and what they want to be.
What's
And I
available.
would think they never really taught you where you were going to apply that math. I mean, there was some problem solving things that you could do to say, oh, this is how you use math. But as far as a career, so what you're teaching is engaging in really that deeper thinking of how you could use that education and
Absolutely.
what they could do with it. So I think even for the kids that do want to go, narrowing down that focus to see what they really want to do with it.
That does. And it opens up career fields that they may not even knew existed, and can even allow them to create their own field, a new field, because now they're like, hey, I can do that. She can do it. I can do that. Like I said, it's hard to really put into words how rewarding it actually is, because it's more than someone becoming a doctor.
Yeah.
It's just way more than
like,
that.
honestly, like, you're making my heart like so happy just like to hear you talk about this and to like see you're passionate about it and the impact that you have. Like, it's heartwarming, but it's like more than that. Like,
Yeah.
is there anything about the program that we haven't talked about yet that you want to share?
I would say that probably the one thing, I mean, there's so much. And I know I'm probably not giving our organization enough justice, actually, because I'm just one component of it. There's just so much more. I would say too is if you're looking for, if your district or whomever is looking for a program that is also going to come in and have strategies, activities, and lessons that you can turn around based on real world, real career, STEM focused kind of things, and be able to open those up and engage students, we have those and all of them so that we build in things like scaffolds, like we're bridging and closing gaps. And that's what we do. And if you're looking, I don't know, if you're looking for that, then we're who you need to be talking to, because we make a difference. And if you Google us and look up, you can check and see like percentages, like even on AP exams, you will see that the schools that we are involved in, those increase. And it has more to do with the fact that we're engaging teachers, engaging students, engaging administrators, and changing the trajectory because we're opening up opportunities that they didn't even know existed.
So I know that we've talked about from like the programming side. So on NMSI's website, if there were to be folks who are, I'm going to ask maybe two questions here, either organizations or companies who would want to be partners, contributors, donors, whatever. Is that information also on the website?
Yes. So what I would suggest, I mean, because there is, I think, if you go to the website, it's like www.nms.org, I believe. If you go to the national, if you Google it, just Google National Math and Science Initiative. So you can just click on that. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a contact us. Fill that in. And we will get back in contact with you. Whether you're looking for assistance, if you're trying to get a grant to help, if you just need information, you have questions and you want more, contact us and we will contact you back. If you want to contribute and to continue to help expand our program, then by all means, fill out that form, hit that contact us and we will respond.
And then what about volunteers? Like, do you have people that volunteer? I know you talked about, you were working with teachers and things, but you also talked about people from industry and, people from STEM fields. If there are folks that are listening that, are looking for an organization to, to give back to, are you guys looking for volunteers?
I would assume, yes, we are, is what I'm going to say. Again, I'm typically hands-on with teachers and stuff. So that part of me, I'm not so directly involved, but I'm going to say we would definitely, because of what our program represents. So if you're looking to help, then again, go to that contact form, fill that out, and we will I promise you, be excited to have you. I know sometimes we like to bring in guest speakers when we're going into school from career fields in STEM. And if you want to be so we do take volunteers because we have guest speakers come into when we're doing content workshops and stuff, or when we're first entering into a school district, that will come in and speak to everyone about these different programs and fields that they're involved in within their own careers. Like, up until I want to say 2023, no, in 2023 our CEO changed, but he still is in the whole STEM arena as well, which is why it's kind of enhanced our focus and pushed us forward. I think that's Mr. Anderson.
Okay, awesome. That's awesome to know. Okay, so we have a couple of little segments towards the end of our podcast that we want to talk about. One is ask the not expert. This is not just for you to answer. This is for like all three of us to like contemplate. So it is a question from a listener.
Okay.
And then we have some rapid fire questions, but we're to keep them kind of short. Okay, ask the not expert. This is from Chloe. I have a team project I have to do, and my team is all boys. None of them want to do any work. Sorry, I'm just laughing reading this. And I don't want to get a bad grade. What do I do?
So for me, I'm going to say I would take that project, divide it up between all of the members, the boys as well. They're all going to, now you can collaborate with them, asking them what parts they want to take on and participate. You add their name to it. And I would give that information to your teacher and share that each person has agreed to take on this aspect of the project. I will tell you, and hopefully if your teacher listens to this, then I will tell you, when I'm grading in a project, I'm grading the parts that person was supposed to be handling. So if that person doesn't do their part, that's on their grade. Whereas if you do your part, I'm grading your part, you get your grade for your part. So you assign people sections of the project to take care of. That's going to be my suggestion. And then talk to your teacher about the issue. You can just send her an email, do it, where you're not having to talk in front of them, because I know that's hard, because then they'll retaliate sometimes. But instead, say, hey, we have this to do. We have these 5 components. Which of the 5? Let them have choice. Give them choice. Let them choose the one they want to do. And then when you go, you say, this is what they chose. I didn't assign it. They chose it. And present it to your teacher that way.
So you as a teacher, you're not going to grade them all based on whether the entire project fails or is successful. You're going to grade each individual contributor.
Yes, and this is why I do this, is because too often people like me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to take control, and I'm not going to want a bad grade. So I'm going to do all of it, because I can't depend on you to do your job. And I watch them in groups, and I see 1 or 2 people invested, and then the other 3 are off, doing whatever they want. I see this. Well, why am I going to award someone the same grade as the 2 I've watched invest in this project? So I changed the way I grade group projects years ago. It's, here's the project, delegate who is going to be handling what component, turn it into me so I know who is on what. When the project's completed, I need to know who, again, was responsible for each component in case there was any switching around. And that's what I'm going to grade. Same rubric, same guidelines, but you're responsible for your part.
Oh, that was like the best. I love this. Like,
Where were you when I was
a
in
couple of
college?
years ago when my daughter was having an issue like this when she was in college.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it should be that way.
Yeah.
Think about it. In your
It
career,
should be that way.
in your careers, if you're in a team, if every team is assigned points, positions, parts of that project, whatever it is you're working on, one person doesn't do it, who's getting fired? The person that didn't do their part.
Hopefully.
That's real world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's real world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the
Okay.
bottom line. And that's how we should be teaching our classes. It's real world. That's what we're gearing them for.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Rapid fire questions. And I know that you are not in STEM, but I feel like you may still have a response to this. And if you don't, it's also fine. Do you have a
Okay.
favorite STEM book, TV show, or movie?
Alchemy of the Mind. That's
Okay.
my favorite book, Alchemy of the Mind. It's about the way the brain works. It's fascinating to me.
All right. Awesome. What was your favorite college course?
My favorite one was Dr. Krinky's Shakespeare class. And I disliked English, by the way, throughout all of school until college.
All right. What is the best advice you've been given, either in like career, school, life? What's your best advice that you've been given?
My best advice is that I'm bigger than the moments that surround me. That is literally the best advice I've ever received.
That is really good advice that I'm actually going to literally pass on to a colleague of mine who is going through some challenges today. Actually, like very much today, I'm going to pass that advice on. I love that.
You know, that came from Teresa Smith. I was given that advice in high school.
I'm writing it down.
That's awesome.
Bigger than the moments that surround you.
All right. Catherine, I have just been delighted to have this conversation and learn about NMSI and learn about you. And this has like just really just been such a, I don't know, inspiring, heartwarming, inspirational conversation. Like I'm just like, honestly, my heart is just happy that this exists. And I'm going to try and do, whatever I can to, help promote this, put it out there. I don't have kids in my, in our school district anymore, but I may be like contacting our school district just to make sure that they're aware of it, because this is fabulous. Like this is absolutely just such a fabulous program.
It really is. And I'm not saying it just because I work for NMSI. I'm telling it is life changing. Like I've seen it change students. I've seen it change teachers. It changed me. You know what I mean? Like it changed the way I teach. And the way I teach is changing the students' chances to do whatever they want to do. And to me, that is what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it sounds like just an amazing program with lots of hope. And
Yeah,
it's
it really
it's
is.
really fun to see your passion about it.
Thank you.
It's yeah,
Yeah, I love it.
it's contagious.
I got to tell in trainings, like you'll get some disgruntled teachers, because, part of ours is like advanced placement programs. And I know we're fixing to get off here, but I'll have, teachers like, they shouldn't even be in this class in trainings. I will hear that they should not even be in this class. They don't have the skills necessary to be in this class. They've never had this class before. So how can they be in this class? Right. Doesn't matter what it is. And I will always stop and say, I shouldn't be here. So anytime you have that forethought that they shouldn't be there, I shouldn't be here, but I am, because somebody else remembered that I could, and that stops it.
That was awesome. Like, I
What awesome.
honestly, like, one of the things I love about doing this podcast is just finding out about these programs and stuff that is
Mhm.
out there that I had no idea existed. Like,
Yeah. What a great program.
yeah. And she's
Mhm.
so joyful and
Mhm.
passionate about it. Like, I know I can't do everything, but I'm like, these kinds of things like make me go like, what else can I
Excellent.
do?
Yeah. And what I liked about her is immediately she knew her favorite STEM book, she had her favorite saying, and it was all inspirational. So,
Yeah.
she lives what she does, and not only a teacher, but I found her to be articulate and she could talk. I don't even think we needed to ask her questions really. She could just carry the show.
Mhm.
But that passion that she had, can you imagine what she's seen in these students? And, how exciting that is just to give that education gift.
I would have loved to have had her for a teacher.
I know.
Like
Yes.
those are the teachers that you want
Yeah.
to have, you know?
Yeah. I could have
Like,
done anything.
yeah. Yeah. I would have probably liked English if I would have had her for a teacher.
Yeah, right. I would like to know.
Yeah, I just feel like really inspired
Mhm.
from our conversation and hopeful. Like
Yeah.
it just makes me hopeful.
Yes. And I like the program part where they don't just come in and it's, try this one time. They spend a lot of time with you to ingrain that program into your school and you can keep it going forward.
Yeah.
That is pretty remarkable because, they're in it for that. They're in it to make the school system better and kind of teach the teacher to carry that on.
Well, and like I mean, so many teachers that I talk to or people that I know who talk to teachers, there's so many people leaving because I think like just teaching right now is so hard. Teaching after COVID is so hard. And I think
Mhm.
there's just this like, I don't know what the opposite of passion would be. What would be I want to say like dispassion, which I know is not a word,
Mhm.
but
Survival? It's more like
I
survive.
don't
It's
even
not
know
an
that it's
opposite
not it.
word,
It's
but
like it almost feels like right now school is just like draining, like just like draining of
Mm.
energy and stuff
Mm.
of teachers. And I got a whole different perspective from her and from the
Mhm.
conversation with her that just makes me
Mhm.
hopeful.
Mhm. Yeah, I think teachers definitely have their work cut out for them. And there are those kids that sort of get, maybe they're dealing with a lot of things in life and they get a little bit left behind. Maybe this is a program that could help some of that and not
Yeah.
feeling like they're so left behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that would help the teachers too. Like you say, sometimes it's draining because teachers are passionate people.
They
Teachers
have
are
to be.
givers and passionate and that's why they're there. There's some amazing people and I think
There are
they've
some
got a
amazing
lot of
people.
work cut out for them in that teaching world. And these seems like these tools would be so rewarding that I would think they'd love that.
Yeah.
Really give them a lift.
Yeah. Yeah. How's your week
Mhm.
been? How's the parents?
Well, I sat in the ER with my dad all day yesterday again, and it's just so frustrating because the good news is there's nothing wrong with him. I mean, every test that comes back is perfect, perfect heart, perfect blood, perfect this, perfect that, but he feels horrible.
Oh,
So, yeah, poor guy.
so
He
you're
has a hard
just
time.
trying to track down what's going on.
Yeah, he just has a hard time eating,
Mm.
and no one really knows why. So it's been busy. I was in the ER with him all day yesterday, and then I had the grandkids overnight last night, and all three of them.
Oh,
So that was busy.
Yeah.
And yeah, but they slept till 5:30 this morning, so that's sleeping in. So, there's twin girls, and it's so funny because when they get up, they come into my bedroom and my bed, and they jump in, and I wake up, and they're laying there, and it's dark, and I don't have my glasses on. Like, I'm calling her the other name for a while, and it's like, "Wait a minute." She doesn't even correct me.
Probably used to it.
It's like, "Wait a minute, which one are you?" She laughs and giggles.
Mm.
It's so fun to try to figure out which one of the twins you have, and they're not identical, but when it's, that time of night, they're about the same size.
Well, well, middle of the night, I'm like, I don't know who anybody is,
I know,
like,
right?
well,
Yeah, so it was fun. Really, really cute. They're so cute.
no. Oh, that's nice.
Mhm. How about
I
you?
went camping this weekend. So we
You
were up on
did?
the North Shore camping. I went with a friend of mine. So that was super nice. It was cold and I was just getting over a cold. So I went to New York City with my daughters. My mother-in-law was supposed to go. She ended up
Mhm.
not going. So I went and then all three of us got sick. None of us
Oh,
were on a
no.
plane together. So I don't know what we had. We think it was a cold. Two of us took COVID tests. We didn't have COVID. Then I got my dad sick because I went to see him before I was feeling sick.
Oh, no.
And then I had a cold, like, I was getting over the cold, so I was, like, coughing while I was
Mm,
camping, and it's also, it was pretty cold up there, but it's so pretty. Like, I love the North Shore. We were up at
yeah, it's so
Tennagoosh,
pretty.
and
Oh, I love that
it's so
park,
pretty up there.
Chattagooch.
Mm,
Yeah, I love that. All those parks are so cool.
yeah.
Did you tent?
We
Or
did, and we actually brought
you
2
did?
tents because I was coughing,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I was like, "Oh, she was like, "Well, I have this bigger tent." I'm like, "Let's just bring both, and we'll figure it out," and then we slept in separate tents because I'm like, I didn't wanna get her sick.
Mhm.
And not like you can't hear people coughing through tents, right? Like, that's gonna
Yeah.
not keep anything out, but no, so
You're not
we had
coughing
separate
on her.
tents, but yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't have a camper, so I
Yeah.
always tend to camp. We will probably get a camper in a couple of years, like when we retire, but,
Mhm.
I'm a tent camper, and actually this is a pretty small tent because it's one that I can backpack
Oh, wow.
camp with. So
Look at
it's
you
a
go.
three-person tent, so it's a little bit heavy for me because I have taken it backpacking, but I can. And so
Mhm.
that was like my goal is to have like a tent that was like big enough that I could actually sleep in because like a single person like you know how like
Mhm.
they say like tent size and it's
Mhm.
like basically you can get half the people of what they tell you that you can get in a tent. So my 3-person tent is comfortable for like me and sometimes and I also wanted to be like I didn't want to have two tents because I wanted to have one my husband could also be in. So we have that tent
So,
and I
Chattagooch,
wanted
is
to be
that the
something I
one?
could set up with just me.
Yeah.
So
Could you drive to a campsite, or is that the one that you hike in?
no, we carted
Chattagooch?
in, and it was kind of a bit of a haul,
Say that again?
and
You
we
what?
brought a lot of stuff.
You carted in? Is that what you said?
Yeah, and it was probably a half mile
Yeah.
from the parking lot to the campsite, so it was kind of
Yeah.
a long haul for
I've been
having
to that.
stuff.
Been to that in the wintertime. Cross country skiing. We skied in.
Oh,
We skied our gear in. Yeah.
so you
It's
winter
a
camped.
winter camp. They have a cabin back there, though.
Oh, so
Have you
not
by the
tent.
cabins?
So you didn't tent camp in the winter? Because 'Cause I've thought about doing that
Oh.
also, actually.
I no, the coldest I've been is 30 degrees in Alaska, but that's just we tented in Alaska in July, but at nighttime it gets to 30, but then it warms up during the day. So we did tent in that kind of weather.
So I've also tented to I wanna say maybe, like it was below freezing. So probably 25 to
Mhm.
30, but it was Yellowstone in August.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it
At
was
least
but
you
it was
know it's gonna get warm later, but
yeah, but it was cold, but there was, like, a few years ago, I had it in my head. I'm like, "I'm gonna tent at least, like, one night every month for a year." I didn't do that, but in my head, I thought it would be, like, a cool idea to, like, do the winter camping. And I really don't like cold, so I'm like, "I'm not doing winter camping."
Mhm.
Like, I just it was
Yeah.
my feet never warmed up on
Mhm.
Friday night at
Mm.
all doing this. My friend that I camped with, though, she had a really good so she's like, "Oh, I brought a water like, a hot water bottle." She's
Mhm.
like, "Fill it up with hot water before you go to bed, put this, like, on your feet because my sleeping bag, I think, was, like, a little she borrowed my husband's sleeping bag, and I think
Mhm.
his is, like, goes down a little bit to colder weather than mine. I am getting a hot water bottle. it was like the best thing ever. I'm gonna
How'd
get
she
one for
heat
my
it?
daughter also because she lives in a house that she keeps pretty cold in the wintertime.
Hmm.
And so
How'd she heat it?
we just put hot water in it. So we boil. I've got a jet
Oil on the
boil.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just did my jet boil and poured the hot water into it, and I
So
mean it
tell
cooled
me
off by
which.
probably like half the way through the night, but it was
So
very comfortable. I'm like, I've
we,
never used a hot
yeah,
water bottle before.
yeah. I've done that before. They have those rice bags, the heater, that you fill with rice and you throw them in the microwave for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I've used those before because if my feet are cold, I cannot sleep.
Yeah, my feet were cold,
Yeah.
but
Fun. Well, that's fun.
yeah, that was
It was cold. We were up at our hunting shack too over the weekend, and that wind was cold. It's cold this weekend.
yeah. Well, winter's coming.
Yeah.
I went to the gym for the first time since last spring today because I'm like I can't work out anymore right now. I'll work out again like once it snows and I can like cross country ski or snowshoe or
Hmm.
something, but
Hmm.
I'm like no more biking for me, and since I don't run anymore,
Hmm.
I have to go to the gym. I'm like I'm not going to bike when it's this cold. It's too cold to bike. I'm getting kind of wimpy, I
Yeah.
guess. So
Yeah. Me too.
anyway, well, Catherine was
Okay.
great,
She was
and
great. It was fun.
um,
Fun to
yeah,
talk to her.
it was fun.
Yeah.
So okay, have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Hope your
You
dad.
too.
I hope you
Yeah.
guys figure that out because it's hard when you don't know what's going on.
It's the worst part.
It's always hard to like live in like the limbo
Yeah, it
of
is.
the unknowns.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. I hope we find out soon.
Ugh.
But thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'll pick up the little critters again. It's October, so dock season it's dock season, so it's busy time.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're taking our doc out this weekend. My son is on his way home right now,
Oh, okay.
and my daughter's boyfriend is coming up. And not that the women folk can't take out the doc, but it's a lot nicer when we have
Oh,
some like other males around to help with the heavy lifting.
yes.
So
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work. Yeah. So
Yeah.
first I thought you said duck season, but it's also going to be
Oh,
duck season soon.
it it is duck season right yeah, it's going to be. It's duck season in North Dakota, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
soon I'll be waking up to shots across my lake,
Oh,
which
it is open.
is
Yeah,
it
it's
open?
open. It usually opens the first weekend of October.
Oh, well, you know what? I've been gone over the weekend, so
Yeah.
maybe that's why I haven't heard. Because usually I'll
Yep.
hear shots across my lake at like
You
6 o'clock in the
should be
morning.
hearing them.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're
it's a
feeling
great thing
better.
to wake up to.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. All right. Talk to you
Take
later,
care.
Kath.
All right,
Okay,
bye.
you too. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Ordinarily Extraordinary Conversations with Women in STEM. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It really helps others find these stories. And if you know a friend or colleague who would also like it, we'd love for you to share it with them. And be sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss future episodes. If you'd like to ask a question or are looking for some advice or to share your own story, you can email us or leave us a voicemail through our website at ordinarily-extraordinary.com. We may feature your question in a future episode. You can also find more about us on the website or subscribe to my writing on Substack at kathykale.nelson.substack.com. And now enjoy Kay Paulus's music to take us out. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Mama said you're so lucky. The world's evolved so far. You know my path was laid out for me, but I longed for something more. What are you gonna be, they asked me. Teacher, nurse, or secretary. But you, my child, can do anything. You can become extraordinary. I know you'll set the world on fire. Keep chasing your dream. Use your gifts for good and stand on your own 2 feet. Set the world on fire. Have faith in yourself. Do your best, work hard, and you'll set the